Hey there, this is Sarah from sarahdesign.com, and today I'm going to walk you through this new mug mock-up for my shop. This is the 12-ounce square mug that I purchased at Dollar Tree. So let me show you how the file works. So let's pop open our layers palette. It's right here. You can see in the layers palette, this is set up the way all of my other similar files are set up, to where we have a white background. You can turn on or off if you wanted to put a custom background behind here, you could, or you could also grab all of these layers and drag them into a new Photoshop file if you already have your background somewhere else. Okay, and then we have, if I hide the mug for a second in the glitter, you can see the shadows layer down here, which is made up of 3 different layers inside of it for a really convincing looking shadow. You're welcome to go in here and play with the opacity on this. Do what you want. You can turn it off, all very easily. Then we have the mug itself, which is this layer here. And then you have this little rainbow, which indicates different versions of the glitter on the mug. So if you go to this bottom one, it says lower third, no handle. So if you like to glitter dip just up to about here and you don't include the handle on it, then you would use this layer. Or if you do include the handle, you could use this layer. About 2/3 high is about here, so you could use that layer with the handle or without the handle. And then I also have a version where it's glittered all the way to the top. Additionally, if you don't want to show the glitter, you just want the plain mug, you can do that. And then we have a smart object layer at the very top, which could be used also in conjunction with these glitter layers. It's just that make sure that you edit it so that if your vinyl only appears up in this white section, then you'll put your design, of course, just there and not covering the entire mug. So let's go in how to edit the glitter. So if we look at this bottom layer, and all these layers are the same except for one difference in the full glitter layer, which I will show you in a sec, but I'm going to open up lower third, no handle. So we have this layer, it says optional shading. If I turn that off, you can see that the glitter part looks fairly uniform and sort of flat. It kind of loses the shape of the mug itself. I've added this layer to give a little bit more dimension, so it looks more realistic. Then we have the color layer. So the base color of this glitter is gold. If I turn off the color layer, you can see that here. So if you're using this file in Photoshop, you can easily edit the color by just going into this color layer, double clicking on this little thing that looks like a square with some gradients inside of it. Just double click that. It brings up this menu, properties menu, which has a hue slider, a saturation slider, and a lightness slider. Hue actually changes the color. You just drag it around until it looks the way you like it. Beware, it will look like the rainbow, like right here it's pointing to kind of a red, but then we're getting blue. So don't base the color off of looking at this rainbow here. Just drag and see what happens to find the color that you need. Okay, and then saturation is like if you drag it left, it gets a little bit more and more grayscale until there's no color in it at all. If you drag it right, it gets brighter and brighter and brighter until it's just completely saturated with that color. Usually it's at around 0. And then lightness is sort of self-explanatory. Turn it to the right, it's getting lighter and lighter, almost like you have sort of a white mist over top. To the left, it gets darker and darker. I find that this is handy if I want to get a deeper shade of a color. Like if I wanted this to be, for Christmas, a red color, and I want it to be pretty bright, but very deep, then I would pull saturation to the right, and I pull lightness left to where it's getting darker and darker. So that's a convenient thing that you can do there. And I can actually just close this properties box now that I'm done using it. Anytime I click in this gradient again, it'll just reopen. Or I can drag it over here and dock it in one of the side areas. Okay, now each of these other layers works the same way. It has our shading layer, it has our color layer, it has our glitter layer. But if you get up to the top where it says full glitter, this one has an additional layer on it. So it has the glitter layer like we saw below, it has our color layer, it has this optional shading layer, and then it has an additional layer called Dimension for Full Wrap, which looks like this. So if you were to put into your smart object a pattern, like if you were going to wrap your mug in a picture of your kids' faces, you would go and you would open up the smart object, you'd paste it in so it's covering the mug part, and then to make that look more realistic, that's why I created this layer. You put that over top of it. It really helps to make it look a little bit more real. But this is completely optional, and you might not be needing this mock-up for that, so that's up to you. Now let's talk about the smart object layer. So in here, this is where I have added a shape to the mug to where you can paste in your design that you've copied from Silhouette or Cricut or wherever, and it will adhere itself to the mug in a way that looks like it's sort of more just wrapped around the mug itself. So if I double click that, you can see. So what you would do is, I have this hello there, which is my example design. You would turn that off, and then I wrote paste your design here on the layer above. So that's where you would put in your stuff. So say I just filled this with blue, and then I hit save. You always have to hit save inside of a smart object. If you don't, nothing will happen. You'll get back to the original and nothing will have changed. But we did hit save, so we'll go back to the original. And you can see this is the area that the smart object occupies on the mug. So anything that I've pasted into this square is going to appear in this area on the mug. So let's go back and fill that with white again. And I'll just show you an example. If I make a new layer, and we'll just type something here. You know, hello. I like to use pretty fonts for these things. So let's do this one. We'll make it bigger. I'm going to save it up toward the top and see what happens. Now see, there's an asterisk over here, which means I have not hit save yet. So we want to hit save, or nothing will have changed on the original. Hit save, go back to the original, and here it is. Now notice that I forgot I left the white background layer on, so now you can't see part of the mug. So we'll go back into our smart object, we'll hide that layer, we'll hit save again, go to the original, and here it is. So this would look pretty good probably with lower third or 2/3. And if we think it needs adjusting more, we just go back in there and we say like, oh, that was a little bit too close to the glitter, I'm going to scoot it up, go back, and there you go. So it's a very easy file to use, really fun. I think you'll enjoy it. Not only is it useful to have mock-ups to create listing images for your shop, but it's also great for trying out new ideas for your designs. So I wanted to show you really quickly what else is included in this file. So one thing that's included is a kind of a key for glitter colors. So I'll inside of the handoff folder area, there'll be some numbers in there where I tell you what to put for hue, what to put for saturation, and what to put for lightness. So I might say, oh, for hue put -55, and for saturation put +24, and for lightness put -17, and then so you can actually type those things directly into this little square, and then you'll get the color that I'm showing in the example. Another thing that is included here is for folks who maybe aren't as confident in Photoshop or don't have Photoshop yet, they can still purchase this file and get lots of good use out of it, because I give you the mug in the original plain with no glitter version, just like this, as a JPEG, flat, and also as a transparent PNG file. And I give you the glitter version of all of these in gold. Let me just show you real quick what those look like. So in your handoff, you'll have this JPEG folder, which has, as you can see, the gold in the varying glitter heights and in just plain white. All of these without a smart object on them. And then there's also a PNG version where the background is transparent. So that's a nice extra that is included in these files that is useful for you to use to create mockups in any graphics program that you have on hand, like Silhouette Studio, for example. I hope you enjoy the mockup and my other mockups in my shop, and that this tutorial was helpful.